This morning I'm going to work with Ellie on a new piece of equipment that I have never used on her, and I have used previously on my other horse Zara, and I've probably not even done it right. But it's a 5-point breastplate, and the reason I ended up buying that was when I got Zara, she was a little bit funny about where the reins were, so I used it to help just weight the reins down a little bit. But it also helps prevent the saddle from going back and slipping backwards as well, which I don't need it for that. Now, I just want to try anything and everything on her, just to make sure that there's a lot of things that she's used to, regardless of whether or not she needs them. It's just a further desensitization. And I know with Ellie, she does not really like things pulling on her chest at all. So it'll be interesting to see how she does with this one. And if she's prepared to do a bit of a... It is damp in here today, we had rain again. Hup, trot. Come on, trot. Just going to give her a tap. Let her know I'd like her to move. Come on. There we go. Just see how she does with that. Good job. And she seems to be handling that quite nicely. And turn. She doesn't seem worried about it. I really think the less that you put on a horse is the better. There's just too many things that can go wrong the more crap you have on them. But it's always nice to just see whether or not it actually does bother her, because it is a different feeling. And these little ropey holy things, when you're working with her, I found them pretty alright on Zara. I don't really need them for Ellie, but like I said, the more things that you get them desensitized to, then the less shock it's going to be if anything does go on. I'm just asking her to stand right there, and she knows that. Good girl. And that looks pretty good. Turn. I'm going to ask her to move. Turn, face. Face me. Face me. Face. Face me. Face. Come on, you know what that means. Face in. Good. And let's Chris, come on. Ellie. Okay, so I'd like to get her attention again. She's really sluggish this morning. She's a bit tired. Puppy, go home. Sweetie, go home. I don't usually let the dogs out. So, hey, go home. So I'm going to ask him to leave. He's an old boy. He gets very excited whenever anything's going on. And I just want to make sure that when she's moving around and this is all jingling and jangling, she's not freaking out. Yep. And canter. Up. Just want to canter. Just handling that nicely. Let's go the other direction. Turn. Turn. I would have preferred a front turn, but canter. Up. Canter. She doesn't want to canter there. I prefer her to not canter here, but we'll get her up. Up. Let's get her up here. Up. Up. Just 1 or 2 canters. Yep. Up. 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 There we go. And that's nice and very good. So this is actually not a bad little piece of equipment if you do need it. So you're going to do a lot of riding in hilly spaces and things like that. You can also get the back end, the crupper end, to go on the tail to help hold the saddle from going forwards as well. She, however, has a good set of shoulders on her and a good withers and doesn't really need to go forwards with that at all. Her saddle won't slip forwards at all. It fits her well. So it kind of stays where it needs to be. So, is she going to be okay with me climbing on with this bit of apparatus? I think she will. I don't like having a lot of things, as I've said. It's a lot more you can get tangled in if something goes wrong. So let's bring her over here, and I'm just going to jump on and see if she accepts that. And see, she's actually pretty good there. The other thing I've got to test with is how she likes these rings and whereabouts these rings are sitting. Mostly you wouldn't be using these rope reins with a horse that's wearing one of these. You'd have a thinner rein with little stops on it, so you could hook it onto the stop and see how that goes. Now, is that going to put pressure across there? I don't know. And that could be something that could cause a problem if that were to push pressure there. So I'll just hop on for a second and see whether or not. So what I don't want to do is I don't want to aggravate things when we're going well. There, okay. So she's not too bad with that while I'm just sitting. And see if she'll understand my forward hand. That's not bad at all. So there we go. Piece of equipment she's never had on before, and she doesn't seem to be minding it all that much. Let's see if we can get a bit of a trot going. Yep. I'm always a bit cautious whenever I'm using anything that I'm not used to, and so most people are. And I can hear the plane going again, so look at the airplane coming over again. Been flying a lot lately, must be having a good time out every day now, or doing some jobs, maybe spraying or something. And that's good. And let's see. Whoop. The other thing is with this, very handy for, watch this, she'll go back. There we go. That's lovely. So this is a good little backing tool. Good girl. Back. Back. You walk. Good job. Yeah. Okay. So she backed nicely then. I've got this done up quite loosely too. I think they're supposed to be a bit tighter than this. But again, it's something that I just bought years and years ago, and I really never use. It just sits there. So I figured, well, we'll give it a go and see how it feels on her. And like I said, it's a pretty good result. She's actually responding better to the bit with these bits of extra weight on the end of the bit. One thing I didn't do, I didn't stretch her down how I normally would if I were going to be on her and she would have put her head all the way down. That could pull quite a bit. Let's see if she'll stop and whoa with that. Whoa. Yeah, good. Good. But that'll do for today as far as introducing this new thing. And yeah, 5-point breastplate. Can be useful on some horses, not necessary on this one, but again, you know, is something that is worthwhile seeing how she reacts to, And if she's sensitive to it, and she's not, she's quite fine with it. So it's been a good little test. I'm pretty pleased. And she'll probably be fine with pretty much anything, really. She's a horse that doesn't seem to be bothered by much at all, as far as putting things on her and asking her to have stuff around and on her. So, you know, and this is where her bending down might be uncomfortable there. So we'll take this off. This has different points to the saddle that I usually use this with. It's got little round rings, D-rings on it, and a bit easier to use. The other thing is with these, you do have to have them around your girth point underneath, but they don't, this particular one doesn't have a strap that goes from underneath, there you go, good girl, to the ground. So you literally got to undo your girth when you want to take it off. So it's not a great idea to completely undo it until you have your girth undone. And once your girth is undone, then it can slide out fairly well easily and not too hard to maneuver.